Hey, good morning. It's Wednesday. And today you're working on your third math assignment this week, partial Philly fun. This is going to be the assignment for it. It's assignment 4.07. Now it's come to my attention that some of you are just going straight to the assignment and not doing the lesson. You know, when Ms. Laws walks through those lessons, I don't have time to do every single activity on there. I'm showing you where I want you to go back and spend more time. So let me share my screen now and walk you through this lesson a little bit, and then show you a demonstration of what they're doing. The last 3 lessons really have been about different ways that you can picture and see and understand what multiplication of decimals are. You don't need to become an expert at every strategy on how to do this, but it is useful to see it from a lot of different perspectives in order to understand it. I noticed yesterday when you were doing the partial products model, you were having a little bit of a hard time with it. So I wanted to demonstrate with 407 today what they're talking about when they're talking about partial products. You guys know, sometimes they call it the distributive property. Sometimes they call it the partial product method. Sometimes they call it the expanded notation. All they're talking about is understanding place value enough to break a number down into its place value parts in order to multiply it, and then multiply the parts. Now, when you're doing standard notation multiplication, you are doing that. So for example, your first problem today is going to be 4 times 9.4. Now, you know that if you wanted to, you could just take and create a text box and do 9.4, and then below it, let's see what happens here, times 4. And let's do a line across there. Now, you know you can go 4 times 4 is 16, and you're going to put your 6 down here, and you're going to carry your 1. Oops, I don't know if that's going to let me make that bigger. Oh, it's tilting. Lovely. You're going to carry your 1 above the 9. Come on, let me play with this. Okay, it's going to be difficult right now. Oh, good. Here we go. So let me put that down. So now I've got a little 1 up above my 9, hopefully, if it'll let me. There we go. Because I had 16. So I put my 1s here and I put the 110 above the 9. Now I go 4 times 9. If you don't know what 4 times 9 is, you can go 2 times 9, 18, and then double it, 20, 36, and then add the 1 to it. That's 37, right? And then you're going to be like, well, how many decimals are in that number? Well, I have one number, or one digit, one numeral behind the decimal point in this equation. Remember, we talked about that's a little shortcut, is ask yourself, how many digits are there to the right of the decimal in the whole equation in both numbers? So out of this entire equation, only the 0.4 is to the right of the decimal. So we know that the point has to be here to the right of the decimal. That's one way you could do it. When you did that, you actually took 4 times 0.4 and then 4 times 9. 4 times 4/10, 4 times 9. You broke it apart. Here's the same problem done using the partial product model. Here you draw yourself a rectangle. And since 4 is a whole number, you can put it here, or you can put it on the top. It doesn't really matter which side you put it on. Then this number has 2 place values. So we're going to split them up. We're going to put the 9 whole numbers here. Think of it as 9 whole cakes. We're going to put the 0.4, or the 4 slices of cake when we cut it into 10 pieces over here at 4/10. Then we're going to ask ourselves, what is 9 times 4? Well, 9 times 4 is 36. Hey, wait a minute. We did that over here too, didn't we? What is 0.4 times 4? Well, that's 1.6. Now I need to add the 36 with the 1.6. And to add that up, I need to be really careful that I line these up with the decimals right above each other. So even though 36 doesn't have these zeros on it, I can add them there just to help me line the numbers up. Even though this 1.6 didn't have a 0, I don't know, I just put that there for the heck of it. Sometimes it helps to think of it as money, like 60 cents, and this one has no cents. Anyway, adding it up, 37.6. I don't need this 0 on the right-hand side of the decimal. When there's no other digits behind it, it's not really serving a purpose. So I write my answer up here, 37.6. This is the same thing done a little different way. I took the 4 times 9 right here, and then I did the 4 times 0.4. I distributed it. I did this one and then that one. 36 and 1.6, 36 plus 1.6 equals 37.6. You can see these are the same partial products. So that's what they're asking you to do in the problem today. They're asking you to look at those partial products. Partial Philly fun, but as you go through this lesson, it gives you several places where it walks you through this entire thing. So I've just gone over it very fast. When I do that in class, I expect you to go back and listen to all of the recordings, practice all of the problems, and look at the way they explain it. Because you never know when seeing one explanation is really going to click for you and help you to understand it. Here they do it again. 1.2, they split it into 1 here and 0.2 here. Don't worry about where you draw the lines. It doesn't matter if this is really 0.2 or if this is, really the same scale. As long as you have space in the boxes to do the math, sometimes it helps you understand it. And then 2.8, 2.8. This is really going to be 4 different little partial product equations. You're going to take the 1, times it by 2, 1 times 0.8, 0.2 times 2, and 0.2 times 0.8. So here's the 1.2, here's the 1 times 2 is 2 you would put here. 1 times 0.8 is 0.8. 0.2 times 2 is 0.4. And 0.2 times 0.8, 2 times 8 is 16, and I have 1, 2 behind the decimal point, so it's going to be 0.16. Then I just have to add it all up. There all the partial products are. And I put them on top of each other. If I need to add zeros to help me, I can. I can even put zeros on the right side if that helps. 3.36. Okay. You can ask yourself too, if you estimate this, you're like, this is about 1 times 2.8. So if you came out with an answer that was 33, well, 1 times 2.8 cakes is not going to be 33. And it's just a little more than 1 times it, isn't it? So you end up with 3.36. So ask yourself what you're really multiplying when you're doing a problem. This lesson isn't over yet, so you don't give up and skip to the quiz. Even if you kind of have it, you need to kind of work your way through and make sure you've got it. 1.9 times 7. They're going to ask you to do 1 times 7 and 0.9 times 7. Then you complete your multiplication, and if you need to, open up a multiplication chart. Go over, open a tab, type in multiplication table. And you can open up a multiplication table so that you don't make mistakes with your math. Expand it, make sure you're looking at it. The way you read these tables is you go, let's say you need 4 times 9. You go 4, and then you go down to the 9, right there, 36. Okay? All right, mathematicians, good luck. 4.7 partial Philly fun. If you have any problems, please ask. Okay.